Hi guys, it's Borkson. Hello, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome back if you've been here before. So guys, today is going to school with a disability, middle school. And guys, welcome to my channel if you're new here. Welcome back if you've been here before. I said that. Guys, I could have sworn I already filmed this video. I filmed high school. But I could have sworn I filmed middle school because I wouldn't film high school if I didn't film middle school. If you guys don't know, like I said, I'm Borkson. I was born in the early 90s. I was born to, and I promise this pours into why I was bullied and why I had issues in middle school. I was born to a disabled couple who were told by their doctors they would never conceive naturally, they would never have children of their own. Now, according to what I'm told and from what you guys don't know, I grew up having a father, not a mother, so it's kind of I had a mother as of my school. My mother died when I was in high school, but that video was already filmed, ready to go out. Guys, so I was the dream of a physically, I would say my parents were both physically disabled. My mother had multiple sclerosis. My father had myasthenia gravis. Both my parents had arthritis. Both my parents had strokes. Both my parents were paralyzed. It's a long story short. My mother was actually paralyzed while I was in school, but that didn't happen until I was in high school. But I was bullied for her disability. In middle school, you guys, they used to call me, now that I look back on it, the term, I don't even know how to say it, starts with a C for disabled people. Yeah, I was called that because of my parents. So anyway, guys, I went to middle school. In middle school 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. I'm trying to figure out. I graduated middle school in 2006. And I'm going to do the math real quick. I went to middle school from 2003 when I was in 8th grade, in 6th grade, guys, to 2006, early June when I graduated. And then in late 2006, I went to high school. Alright, guys, middle school was when the crap really started hitting the fan. You guys don't know, I probably have autism. I have, even back then, I had issues. My mother had a broken hip. My mother broke her hip when I was at church group. I say this in a lot of my videos because it's one of the biggest traumas of my life next to my father's injuries. So guys, I was teased because of my crip parents. Yeah, I was called Crip. That's the name I was trying to say. I was called Crip daughter. Like, first off, you guys, it's hard. But I swear on the holy, I'm not making any. I swear, guys, I'm not making any of this up. Guys, I had some good points about school, and I had some bad points. I didn't have any friends, and I befriended some girls, and I think that was further along, guys. Anyway, so I didn't have any friends in the schoolyard. And oh god, no, guys, I think this video does exist. It's in more than one part, so I have to edit and put together, and I don't feel like doing that, so I'm gonna put up this version, guys. This what happened when the cats started crying or someone started. Guys, remember, I'm fostering some animals now at the moment. I love animals, you guys. By the way, guys, I was also bullied because I love animals. So I'll tell you guys right now, my middle school experience was HELL, double hockey sticks. double hockey sticks. I had some good points, but bad points. I probably have autism and like ADHD. I was never diagnosed with my parents. I do have medical disability, asthma, and like hypoglycemia. I have asthma, which is a lung disability. It's most people in my family have it. So I'm not sure if it's inherited. I'll have to look it up, guys, but I'm not sure. So, and school was just, I tried to make friends with these group of girls. They really weren't my friends, but I tried a couple groups. I really didn't make friends in life until I was in my 20s. Like, see, I didn't make friends until I was 20. That's sad. But anyway, guys, school was terrible. The school also, one of the schools I went to, I'm not gonna say which one for privacy reasons, also got an idea that the whole school said I could not read. My mom was convinced my mom because my dad I could not read, write, spell, and do math. Which is funny, guys, because in middle school I was in the harder math class, but apparently I can't do math. Math is not my subject, you guys. And being dyslexic, I'm dyslexic by the way, if you guys don't know. I have a ton of learning disabilities, but my biggest hindrance was my parents both being disabled. By the way, I say, okay, so 6th grade was, the teacher, he was really nice to me, and I was told some stories about him now that, if it's true, guys, it breaks my heart if it's true, because when I looked at him and his wife, because his wife was our music teacher, but she was music, but she language arts, she was something. And when she'd come in, guys, I could feel I was surrounded by people who loved each other. Guys, sorry, I have Family Ties on the background. I could feel the love he had for his wife, and I thought, I want to find somebody like that for me one day. It's the kind of love I also know my father felt for my mother. When you love your partner and you would do anything for them even long after they're gone. But anyway, guys, he knew I had special needs, and I'd have I actually used to have really bad asthma because I have allergies. I've also grew up having other weird issues too, guys. Remember, I took care of my parents towards the end of both their lives. So anyway, guys, so that weighed on me too. I knew my parents were both sick, and I was made fun of in school for having two disabled parents, which I'm proud of. Come up to me today, and I will tell you guys, I had two paralyzed parents, and I'm proud of it. Now, they were not paralyzed at the same time. Thank you, God above. Thank you, God. They were not paralyzed at the same time. I used to get teased whenever my dad would come to school, and I got bullied all the way up for him coming to school and coming to get me, guys. Now, it has to do with my parents, with middle school, I promise, guys. So both my parents were disabled. My mother had a broken hip. Mother had, like I said, multiple sclerosis, which made her brain messed up, and she had feelers, and that's heartbreaking. My dad had myasthenia gravis, but he was able to walk somewhat better than my mom. They've had trouble walking, but my dad could walk better. My mom used to say that he was the legs and she was the eyes, because my dad was legally blind as well, to at the end, as he had an eye condition, and he was afraid to get checked. He was afraid that when I was younger that the courts would take him off of me, which is, I remember my parents having fights about that all at middle school, was that somebody threatened that if my parents didn't put me on some kind of strong medicine, I'm not going to say her mouth, I'm allowed to say, that they would remove me from my father, who was, I'm sorry, I'm saying is, he's been almost a year. And my dad was like, let them take me to court and say I'm an unfit parent. I have two homes. But guys, both my mom had her house, my dad had his house. It was ridiculous. We lived in one of the worst neighborhood. My dad said, why not we move to blank street? Oh my God, I almost said it. Which is, you guys know that house is my childhood home. That's the house I did story times on. That is it, guys. My extra glasses are sitting here in my back. My other pair. I switch them every day, guys. So anyway, guys, so my dad used to say, let them take me to court and take my child off of me. Let them try to take my child off of me, because I have two homes that my daughter could live at. My daughter could actually live in her own home. I used to say I have my own house and my own living room. I say all the time I have my own house, and no one believed me. That's because, guys, in the will, but legally it was, it was dad's entrust of me because I was not 18 yet. But anyway, I had my own house, so I would be teased because I lived in a bad neighborhood. Really, because none of these people ever came to my childhood, my proper childhood home, the one, my actual family home. They always came to my mom's house. So my mom's house was a tiny little 2-bedroom house, and I don't want to speak too much on it because it's traumatizing for me and my siblings. It's very traumatizing, at least for me and one of my siblings on here. The house was tiny. It was 2-bedroom. You had to walk through one of the bedrooms to get to the bathroom, which I'm like, no. No. And guys, the house was just, we would have people over. And then they would go back to school, and they would tease me about how I lived in the ghettos and my house was messed up. And I was like, I'm confused. Sorry, guys, because I'm not on the camera. I was like, I'm excused. I was like, I'm like, excuse me, like being excused, because why? What house did you go to? And my mom let you in, or did my dad let you in? And they were like, your mom did. I'm like, then you were not at my house. You were at my mom's house. Because my house was in trust to me until I turned 18. Even then, I let dad, it didn't know his business. I let it stay in dad's name because it was, long story short, my house wasn't heard it from my grandmother, heard it from my father, who heard it from his mother. So this house, you guys know, is my childhood home. It's the only house I ever felt home. And the next one's good, but it's not home. It's not that house. So guys, anyway, yeah. I mean, I was teased and picked on, and guys, I swear, we're only up to 6th grade. So further along, guys, okay. 7th grade comes in, and everybody always spread rumors about me liking every boy in school. I'm pretty sure that's something every girl with special needs can relate to. It actually came down to the point where my parents were arguing. And my parents weren't like arguing with each other, they were arguing with the school. Let me specify this. Where the school counselor's son was picking on me. And the principal's son used to bully. The vice principal's son used to bully me. No, not this principal's son. He was too old. And guys, I knew that the principal's son had a relationship going with the teacher's aide, and I was right. They had a baby. I was right. Anywho, they got married and had a baby. They had a baby, got married, and had maybe had another one. Anyway, guys, with my autism, I have trouble making friends because I think everybody hates me. Guys, I actually just recently said this to probably one of the people that's closest next to being my brother than to my actual brothers. And both of them even said, Bork said, nobody hated you guys. We loved you and Uncle Pert. Like, we just feel so bad that you guys felt like nobody loved you. Some of my relatives, guys, and I told them that me and Dad felt like nobody loved us, busted out crying and said, what do you guys mean? I said, we would have known he was in that kind of condition, we would have came sooner. And both sides said it. Yes, guys. So anyway, I decided that I went to middle school. I wanted to go searching for my dad's side of the family. Guys, I have an issue where I like to it's like I'm looking for hairs, guys. Peach ball it's a tick. Excuse that. I have a lot of weird ticks. Also, guys, my autistic ticks. If I didn't say I have how many ties on the background, so I'm kind of like watching it while I make this video, so I'm kind of distracted a little bit. One of the schools I went to had the funny idea that if I couldn't read, or I can read, I'm visually impaired. I was told I was completely legally blind almost, guys. I'm not. By the way, guys, my main disability, I made videos on this before. I have a condition called nystagmus, where if I don't wear my glasses for a while, depending on, my eyes will start to move funny and like spin and roll in my head. Now, with my other medical conditions, I've scared a few teachers with this. No, my glasses were broken for several years, or they're actually in a drawer in my dresser in my childhood bedroom. No, they're in a drawer in a dresser in my childhood home in my teenage bedroom. I call it my childhood bedroom, but it's my teenage bedroom. My childhood bedroom right now is my doll room. And I was teased when people found out that I had hamsters. And so by 7th grade, I was being relentlessly bullied because of, I love animals, guys. Guys don't know, I love animals more than I love anything on this earth. I love animals. Especially not my father is no longer with us. I love animals. My best friend is a beagle. He's a very sweet dog. But guys, in middle school, this is about school life. Anyway, I met my best friend. Well, I did have a best friend growing up. Let me see this. I had several furry best friends growing up. The hamster family, which was my hamsters. Buddy, which was my dog. Missy and Molly were my cats. My cricket family. My crickets had babies too. I was so happy when they had babies. But no, guys, so my crickets had babies. My hamsters had babies. And I was in 7th grade when my hamster babies. Anyway, I was bullied relentlessly because I liked hamsters and animals. And my favorite animal was a dog, by the way, if you guys don't know. I didn't really grow up with him as I was already 11. Well, I consider myself, I grew up with a beagle. So my best friend's name was Buddy. He was a beagle. He had cancer. He was, I think, an epilepsy. So I would be teased about loving dogs and being weird about it. Like, you guys know, I'm a dog lover. I'm a cat lover. I love anything that's any animal. I was teased. Okay, so in middle school, I was bullied by a particular bully. We're not going to say his name on here, but he was a guy who would ask me on a date. I was just said it wasn't on a date because he wasn't my type. I didn't want to be rude. He actually started calling the house saying weird things. Okay, this is what's funny, right? This boy's calling the house saying weird things. Most people think my father was my grandfather. I mean, right up to the end, like in the hospital room, they were even saying, like, where's his daughter? And he didn't know it was me, so he was like, where's my daughter? Because I was standing further back where he could not see my face. So the doctors were even thinking I was a granddaughter. So this kid thought it was my grandfather. Picks up the phone and says, young man, do not call my home speaking in curse words and else to my daughter. You know, my dad was like, people keep saying she's my granddaughter. Yes, my granddaughter. No, my daughter. I had to hear that my whole life. How many times I had to tell people it's not my grandfather. So anyway, guys, my dad would go to school to send me feminine hair items, or if my blood sugar was low, or if I was having an asthma attack, my dad had an extra inhaler for me. So my dad went to bring me my inhaler, and if the school goes, sir, we can't bring out your granddaughter to you. Like, she's having an asthma attack or something. Turns out I wasn't, or just dizzy, and they just didn't know. But a couple times I was having, I had severe asthma. I had horrific asthma attacks until I was like 15. It was embarrassing. It was horrendous. I usually would have them in my bedroom at my childhood home. My childhood bedroom in my childhood home and my original childhood home. So yes, and it was horrendous. I also used to panic about what would happen if my dad would pass, and this is a middle school thing. So, you guys, so like I said, so I started making friends, but I wasn't really friendly with anybody, and they kind of would pick on me, but I thought they were my friends. So 8th grade, guys. Oh my god, guys. By the way, I also like celebrities, singers, actors, dancers. Like I said, I think I have obsessive compulsive disorder. So my obsessive compulsive disorder makes me have CWS, celebrity worship syndrome. I like to, look up research topics and jewelry and makeup and clothes and hair and nails and all that stuff and just get honed in on it. My favorite topic as a kid was, you guys guess it, dolls. And I was teased because I had doll babies. And I was like, I don't care. Like, you come over to my house. Guys, even to this day, if you want to come to my house and play dolls with me, I would have to go to my childhood home and get the dolls. But if you want, I always say it to my friends, they want to come over and play dolls with me, you can. Because I don't play with them and like acting out scenes. I used to, guys, and I'll admit, while everything was going down in my personal life, I was acting out scenes with my dolls, or playing out what this would happen, with that would happen, with this would happen. Anyway, guys, this video's getting a little long. Anyway, guys, by 8th grade, the teacher's assistant used to stick up for me a couple of times because like some of them would give, like I say in other videos, guys, the lunchroom lady, I think she knew I had autism even then, and she was really kind to me. I don't want to say her name on here, but she was really kind. She even gave me a Care Bear ring out of the like the little rings for the Care, like the little, like, you put like the dollar in ring. But guys, it was the thought, and I had that ring for years, and she was a good woman, and she had a daughter similar name to me, and she even told my mom there's nothing wrong with her meeting me. And if Borkson doesn't make friends, it's not Borkson, it's those other girls who just, everybody says it to you. A couple of my teachers even said I was probably more, because of the autism, like I come off like the teachers would put it, is I thought I was more mature than some of the other kids. Well, people didn't realize my home life was, I'm not going to put my parents down, was kind of bad. Only because my parents were both disabled. And I say that with pride in my heart. Both my parents were physically disabled. And I had to take care of my mom. But she wasn't that bad yet when I was in middle school. But she got worse as I got older. And I didn't care. I would try to wipe her. I would try to take care of her. I didn't care. It was my mother. But when other kids would find out that you gotta go home and you gotta, help your father, bathe your mother, you tend to get bullied. And I don't care. It hurts a little even as an adult. I'm like, you know what? And they think it's bad. I almost had to wash my mother. The relative I actually live with now used to help me wash her. You think that's bad? I almost washed my father too. So I had to let my father, they could wash all together and all. Anyway, guys, it wasn't until way later in life. Okay, guys, I'm going to probably upload this video now. But yes, guys, so when I graduated, I had a friend named Tony all throughout school. And he separated me from him. So in 8th grade, like I said, I forgot to put this part in. They separated me from the other kids that I've been in class with since 4th grade. They put me, my school had 2 classes. They switched me to the opposite class. And I had to make new friends all over again. I made friendly with a few people, but my friend was in the other class. My friend, he was in the other class. He used to defend me too when other kids would mock me. And he even said to them, I have a sister. He said, I really hope Borks' brothers come over here and find it, because you guys are taking advantage of Borks and picking on her because her brother's too old to defend her. My brother's 28 years older than me, and the other one is only a few years, but he was in the high school, in the middle school version of our school. Kind of is a little confusing. He was in the high school that some of the kids went to from our school. Yeah, so they knew my brother was way too old to come defend me, and yeah. But guys, like I said, though, my middle school it was a blur. Teachers were good to me, though. They were nice. And teachers' assistants. Now, I went to charter school. I should have said that, guys. So, teachers' assistants in charter school, and there is other special needs kids in my class who had way worse disabilities than me. So, there was always a teacher's aide, a teacher's assistant there. A couple of the kids even had their own personal aides, which I actually don't agree with that, but it is what it is, guys. So, and if I need a glucose tablet, I could just go to the nurse and get one. The nurse did not like me. They kicked me out because real quick, guys, a boy coughed on me in 8th grade and gave me, I believe, he gave me some kind of flu. He gave me ammonia or something. They just said I had ammonia. When they did the test, they thought I had spinal bifida, that kissing disease. He walked past me and went, "Hey, Borkson," and sneezed and coughed all over me. Now, I'm a little socially slow, if you would say, guys. This was before I had my issue. I used to be really, like, outgoing before. I had an issue in high school, a mental issue, after my mother died, but I had it now after my dad did too. But anyway, guys, this video is much, much too long, guys, but just keep in mind, though, that, yeah, so high school was worse than middle school, even, so stay tuned for that video. It's already filmed. Oh my goodness, it can't get any worse. Like I said, guys, no, one of the teacher's assistants was nice to me. She actually introduced me to Narnia and gave me all the books, and now I lost them all, half of them in a house fire, and the other half in my childhood home. They're still there, but they need to be thrown away. They're destroyed. So yeah, I had some good people there in middle school who were kind to me, but I used to get picked on by this one kid. We're not gonna say their names. Actually, I met a predator in middle school. I'm not gonna tell you guys too much more than that because that has a whole separate video I plan to do, guys. But I met a couple predators in school too, who were asking me inappropriate questions, and I don't know why I didn't go to the teacher and tell. Probably because one of my favorite teachers was a man, and I didn't want to make him uncomfortable because I was being woohooly teased and about my size and like what I'm built and all. And one of my favorite teachers was a man, and one I felt most comfortable talking to. Because, guys, by the way, guys, real quick, I'm more comfortable with men to some degree than women, and more comfortable with women to some degree than men, just because I grew up with a man. I'm used to men. I'm used to being around elderly men. So I'm used to older men. So that's just why, because I grew up being raised by an elderly father. And this video is much, much too long. I'm going to go upload it right now so it goes up in time to come out. Okay, guys? Remember to comment, like, share, subscribe. Stay tuned for the rest of the series. I love you all. Bye, guys.